Okay, so I hope you did well in having a go at this yourself, in creating your own portfolio site to the next level, really. I'm going to code from scratch this thing so that you can compare how you did it to how I did it. Of course, a lot of the time there are no straightforward answers where one thing's better than the other. Sometimes there are. So don't worry too much if you've done things differently to how I have. So I'm going to start completely from scratch and go from there. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the web pages, because I find that's the easiest way to test out my navigation page. So we've got home, work, about, and contact. So once again, I'm going to create all of this in a separate folder. So in HTML practice, I'm going to create a new folder called portfolio. I'm going to try and spell that right as well. That would be good. Portfolio. So within there, I'm going to start creating my other home pages. Now, before I used home.html, actually this time what I'm going to do is call it something called index.html. Now, in best practice, people just use index.html instead of home to refer to the home page. So that's what we're going to start doing from now on, okay? Whenever we've got a multi-page site, we're going to use the home page and call it index. So index.html is the first one. I'm just going to do HTML, and then in the paragraph, this is home. And then I'm going to create another one, which is going to be our work. So make sure I save it into the right folder. I'm going to call this work.html. Save this in there. This is work page. All very basic for now, but it's just so that it's just creating the basic skeleton structure for all of this. So there we go. Come into here, portfolio, and let's see, about.html, about page, and then finally we're going to add contact, which is going to go into a folder, contact.html. Now I wonder where index has gone to, because it doesn't look like it's saved in there. So let's just make sure. Okay, so I saved it in here. I should have saved it into portfolio here. So index.html, perfect. So now let's create our, let's get started by creating our navigation bar. So as you might remember, we want to create an unordered list to create our navigation bar. So I'm going to do UL for unordered list, and then I'm going to add my list items within here. So I'm going to add 4 different items, 2, 3, 4. And within here, I'm going to create these links. So I'm going to use the anchor tag to link, if it will let me. Okay, so let's start with this. A href equals. And then we want to have for this one index.html. And then we're going to just put home, and then close it. And then I'll just repeat that 4 times for now. There we go, and just change this each time. So I'm going to have work.html, about.html, and contact.html. Just going to update what it's going to say about me, and then contact me. Okay, and now I'm just going to add this into each and every one of those pages so that you can't get stuck in any of the pages. Okay, save that. Make sure I save each of the changes. Contact as well. Oh, I haven't got anything for contact, so contact. Okay, let's give this a spin. So desktop, HTML practice, Okay, let's open it up and see how it goes. Here we go, index, that's our home page now. So this is home. Let's try the work one. This is work page, about page, contact, Cotnacked. Anyway, it works, which is the most important thing. So fantastic. We have our initial navigation bar. So let's move on to this now. What we're going to do is create a few headers. So we're going to have portfolio site as our main title, then skills, previous work, experience, and rates. So what I'm going to do, just to make it easier to check between the two, so I'm on my PC, so I'm going to use the Windows key and tap right. So I'm holding the Windows key and I tap right. And I'm going to select which of these to look at, which is going to be this. So now it's going to make it even easier. I'm going to close this sidebar. So now I can go between the two much more easily to check that I'm doing things right. So what I'm going to do is go back to our index, which is around here somewhere. Let's close some of these. There we go. Index. So what I'm going to do first is add some of these headers. So first of all, I'm going to have my H1, which is going to be portfolio site. I'm not going to replicate this word for what it's saying there, but I want it to look similar at least. So portfolio in as the title, and then I'm going to add in some subtitles. That's going to be H3. So let's have skills, previous work, experience, and rates. So for most of these, I think I'm just going to put some basic stuff. So for here, I won't take too long adding stuff in. Previous work, we've got an unordered list here, it looks like. So I might as well create one of those. UL for unordered list, and then list item. Okay, and I'm going to put tutorial page. Zoo website. And why not this page? So for experience, it looks like we've got a table. So we're going to create a table using the tag table, and then we're going to add, it looks like it's got two table headers here. So first of all, we need to create our table row, and inside that, our table header. First one is skill, with spelled properly, and the second one is amount of experience. Now it's best every now and then just to stop, take a look, make sure it's working properly. So that's looking good so far. Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay, now let's add in the table data, which is where it says like HTML and CSS. So we're going to add a few more rows, tr, td. So this is going to say HTML, and then add in how long you've been learning it for. Maybe you've been doing this course for 1 week so far. Let's say you've done that much. And then we're going to add in another row. And this is getting ahead of ourselves here because you haven't started learning this yet, I'm assuming. But CSS, which is how to style HTML, we'll be going into that very soon. So we're just going to be putting coming soon. And then rates, put in a paragraph, I charge X dollars, however much you please. So now my work. I don't want to spend too much time doing this because obviously this is your time and I don't want to take too long, otherwise you might get bored. So when we get into my work, I'm just going to keep this very simple. Basically, I'm going to just show you the example for the zoo. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make this a clickable image as well, because for the social media icons, for example, you can download them off any search engine. They're clickable. So I'm just going to show you how you can do that here. So I'm going to put under, this is, well, let's put the H1 at least first, my work. And then we're going to add an image, so img, and the source is going to be, so this is where the image is under HTML/zoo/images. So if we look at where our portfolio folder is, this is where my portfolio folder is anyway. This is where I have all my stuff. So I'm going to have to refer to the fact that in order to get there, I'm going to have to go backwards out of the folder. Now, in order to do that, in where I put the source, I have to put ... That means go step out of the folder one step. And then I want to go into the zoo folder. And then from there, I need to go into images. And from images, I'll then go into snake.jpg. Right, let's give this a try, see how it goes. Excellent, so that seems to work just fine. And for the alternative, the old snake not found. Now, as I said, I'm going to make this clickable. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this inside an anchor, which is basically a way to put a link in. I'm going to format this nicely. Whoops, make this look a bit indent it. There we go. So for the href, I'm going to have to do something similar to what I did here. So I'm going to have to go out of our folder, into zoo, and then let's see what's the name of the file I need to go to. Home.html. Okay. So zoo/home.html. Okay. Give this a try. Click into it. Takes you to the zoo. Perfect. So I'm just going to leave it there. I mean, in order to do the other ones, it's very much the same. And for the social media, obviously, for the Facebook and the Twitter, you just need to put the actual URLs. So that's that one done. If we look into About, you can do whatever you like with this page. I'd be interested to hear what you've decided to do, whether you've added pictures or tables, but that was completely up to you. So let's go straight into the contact. So for this page here, what we want to do is not have this misspelling. So I'm going to put h1 called contact, and the paragraph is just, are you interested in my work? Let me know. So here we want to have a form that includes a text input, multiple choice drop down, and then we want to also have a text area. So let's do the ones that we know first. So within our form, which we're going to do like this, remember we don't need to worry about all these things that appear at the moment. We're going to have some inputs. So input type equals text. That all looks absolutely fine to me. And remember, we don't need to worry about name and value at this point. So we're going to have one, and as you can see, we have this here. We have this nice suggested text that comes up, and we'll do the stuff we know first, and then I'll add in those nice little extras at the end. So first of all, we want to have an input for first name, an input for email, and then we want to have our text area. So for that, we put text area. Perfect. And after that, we want to have our submit button, which is another input. Type equals submit. There we go. And then the value can be click me. I always like that one. Click me. Okay, perfect. Let's have something in the text area to say right here. Let's see how that looks. Okay, it's looking okay. It's quite blotchy. It doesn't look very well formatted, and there's nothing to tell them whether they want the first name or last name. So let's change that first of all. So let's put a paragraph in here. Basically says first name. And then the second one saying email. And let's have a look how this works. Okay, so that's looking better. Let's see what else. Let's have a line break after the text area, so that the button's on a new line. So we're going to put BR for line break. Okay, that's looking good. Let's leave it there for now, and in the next lecture we're going to pick it up to show you how you can have the drop down and how we can have the suggested messages in here that directs the user on what to put in. So have a break for now, go over what we've just gone over with creating the forms and creating the images and linking to our different files, and then I'll see you in the next lecture.